Thank you to Thomas Moira for these two suggestions. Hello everybody, this is JT Productions and I'm back with another preview prediction video. Today I'll be doing the Florida State Seminoles. Let's get her going. Last season, the Florida State Seminoles went 5-7, 4-4 in the ACC, with a loss in the season against Florida to lose bowl eligibility. Last season, the start of the season, they were on a 4-game losing streak. They lost week 1 in overtime to Notre Dame, where they looked probably their best out of the 4 losses. They lost off a Hail Mary against Jacksonville State. How? They lost at Wake Forest, that's reasonable. They lost against Louisville by 8. And then they won on about a 3-game winning streak. They beat Syracuse at North Carolina and then UMass before losing a 10-point loss to Clemson, where they really could have won that game. Lost by 14 to NC State, then won 2 games to get close to bowl eligibility against Miami by 3 and then Boston College by 3, and then lost at Florida off a failed onside kick. So, a lot of growing needs to happen. Let's look at my notes, see what I think. So, Florida State Seminoles, Mike Norvell is in his 4th season trying to rebuild this team. They lost a few players like Jermaine Johnson, and they had a running back that they lost as well. I'll think of his name in a second. Anyways, they've recruited, they're 18th of their last 5 years in recruiting. That's pretty good for the ACC. They're 3rd from the ACC, and from my last video, Boston College, 10th from the ACC, and they were 55th overall. Anyways, they got a couple of transfers in Micah Pittman, who's Michael Pittman Jr.'s brother, who's at USC, not UCLA. He transferred from Oregon. You got another wide receiver in Johnny Wilson, who transferred from Arizona State. You got Caden Lyles, an offensive center transfer from Wisconsin. That'll be pretty good for you. You got a right tackle transferring in from Lamar, who's slotted in to be your starter. We'll see how that goes. You got a running back transfer, Trey Benson from Oregon. You got a defensive end transfer in Dante Anderson he's a freshman, I'm sorry. You got a linebacker transfer, Jared Verse, and from Albany. You got a linebacker transfer in Tatum Bethune from UCF. And finally, you got a safety, a nickelback transfer, Greedy Vance, in from Louisville. So you got some decent, vital kind of transfers to kind of bring your team together. That's pretty good. Now, what are your other positions? You have players like Malik McCain, who should be okay. Your quarterback, Jordan Travis, he's been hit or miss. Him and Adrian Martinez are kind of in the same boat. They're not the best, but they can win you games. They, on a random day, can win you games. They have a tight end, Richard Sr. Cameron McDonald. He should be a pretty good vital piece. Offensive line, hit or miss. Defense, Fabian Lovett, Derek McLendon, Robert Cooper. Then you also got Akeem Dent, a redshirt junior strong safety, not the Akeem Dent who was at Georgia all those years ago. So your team's not terrible, however, not world-beating. So let's see what I think they're going to do this year. You play in week 0 just like a couple of other teams, so this means you have 2 bye weeks during the season. Week 0, you play Duquesne, and that should be a no-brainer win. You should beat them and run them, or drag them per se, up and down your stadium. Week 2, you have a big non-con game against LSU in New Orleans. Now, if you've seen my LSU preview, you already know that I think LSU is going to be a wild card team this year. A lot of their games that I have them losing, they could go either way. This is one of them. LSU coming into this game, new head coach, new coaching staff, new quarterback, new a lot of places. And Mike Norvell last year, when he played Brian Kelly when he was at Notre Dame, gave Brian Kelly a run for his money in Tallahassee. And I think he'll do that here, but this time get the win. I think Florida State starts at 2-0, in contrast with starting 0-4 last year, before they have their first of 2 bye weeks, before they go on the road to Louisville. So in this one, I think you go on the road to Louisville and get a win. I think Louisville, they're a good team. Malik Cunningham, I've been mispronouncing it, is a absolute beast when it comes to carrying the team on his back, everything. But I think with everything that Florida State has, their recruiting background over the last 5 years, I think Florida State gets the win. I think they go on the road to Cardinal Stadium and get the win before coming back home to face Boston College. And I think they get a win there as well. I think they start out 4-0 instead of 0-4 like they did last year, Boston College. They have Jerkovic back, but in a hostile environment like Tallahassee and Doak Campbell Stadium, I think that Florida State gets the win. Then you host Wake Forest, and I think Wake Forest is just going to be too much for Florida State. I think that Sam Hartman's going to come in there and light you on fire with that offense. So you get your first loss, but you have a cushion behind you at 4-1. Then you go on the road to NC State, and I think you drop this one as well. NC State, Devin Leary's a great quarterback. They lost their 2 running backs, but it's going to be a close one, I think. I think with these losses that you're accumulating, it's going to be more of Jordan Travis kind of shooting himself in the foot more than them just outplaying you. Turnovers are going to be a big factor in these games. And I think you go from 4-1 to 4-2. Then you host Clemson. And I think you lose this one. I think you go 0-3 in the month of October so far. Then you have your second bye week. So now you have 5 games to get bowl eligible for the first time in Mike Norvell's tenure. Started off, you have Georgia Tech. You're 4-3 at this point. So you have Georgia Tech at home. I think you beat them. Did you beat Georgia Tech last year or did you lose to them? Let's see. No, you didn't play Georgia Tech. You beat Boston College, which I think you're going to beat them again this year. And you lost to Wake Forest, which I think that's going to happen as well. So I think that you beat Georgia Tech, then you lose to Miami at Miami. Miami's going to be a lot better than they were last year. They're going to be looking for revenge against you after you stole one from them last year. And then you have to go back-to-back on the road at Syracuse. And I think they get another one on you. This is so far 0-2 in the month of November. You're 5-4. Yeah, 5-4 or 7-4. 6-4. I'm just losing track of everything. You're 6-4 so far. You're bowl eligible after that win against Georgia Tech. And now, no. You're 5-4. Why do I keep messing that up? Anyways, you got your 5th win against Georgia Tech. You lost your last 2 at Miami and at Syracuse. So now you're 5-4. You host Louisiana, Raging Cajuns. They lost their head coach, Billy Napier, to Florida. However, they're still a talented group of 5 team. I think you get the win. This is going to be one of those flip games that you need to get if you want to go bowling. Then you host Florida. I don't think they're going to be... I think they're going to take a little bit of a step back this year. from 2020. I disregard 2021 just because you're kind of switching coaching staffs and a lot of mishaps happened last year. They're going to take a step back talent-wise. However, I think that they'll still be able to compete and get a close win against you in Tallahassee. So, Florida State, for the first time in Mike Norvell's tenure, goes 6-6 and makes a bowl game. That's great to hear. Now, where do you go from here? Talking about in the future. Can you compete in the ACC? Well, you're going to have to get a better quarterback. Jordan Travis is not the answer. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments for more different teams for me to do. And I'll just keep pumping them out. So, have a great day and go Dogs.